We're back with Jess Lujan and James Santos. We're talking about the National Museum of the Doce Nombre de Maria Basilica and the fate of the museum. Now, James, of course, you were very glad, and you're still very glad to be a part of this. But where is this going? What do you think happened? I mean, we were talking on the break. The day that you opened up, you were without air conditioning. The notices came up there. Nobody came back to tell you guys that you weren't going to exist anymore, pretty much. So, what happened?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, there was a lack of communication from the church's part to us, to Vanjie and myself. We walked into the museum with no air conditioning. We opened up. We had over 500 guests come through the museum. And when we opened, the museum was open for us. The bulletins from the church bulletins were up on the counter that it told us that it would be opening today and closing today. And so there was no communication. Nobody came up to speak to us whatsoever. So we went ahead and we fulfilled what we had promised to do, was to open the museum on that day.
Of course, this is after new management had taken over, right?
Yes.
Actually, under, I guess, the management of Dr. David Kirigua, or Monsignor David Kirigua, right?
And so in that week's time, we had not heard from Monsignor James. I guess he was taking care of whatever was going on with his situation. And so all I knew was what Vanjie was telling me, that she had spoken to Monsignor David or tried to contact him to find out direction, because we had already publicized the opening of the museum.
Right.
And we had asked for volunteers within the church as well.
So what direction did they give you?
We didn't get any direction.
Right. I ended up just talking to Mrs. Kidd, was with the parish at the office, and she's the one who, when I asked, are we going to move forward, she's the one that said that the front office gave her approval. So I'm assuming the front office was Monsignor David. So, and which is fine, which is exactly what we wanted to be able to do, share that.
Yeah.
And so that was the only direction that I actually received.
Okay, so moving forward, but then the notice was that you're going to open that day and close that day.
At noon.
At noon.
Yeah.
And so it's been closed since.
Yes, and what was really challenging that day when we opened the museum was the questions, the whys. Why was this happening? Why is this happening? What's going to happen to this stuff?
And you couldn't answer
We couldn't answer it because we had not known. The administration had changed and no communication was relayed to us. So the only thing I could say was speak to the church, write your letters, call them up, find out what's going on, because we don't have an answer for you.
So why do you think this happened, James?
My personal opinion, I feel like certain vanities and personal agendas were taking over here, and I think people are, certain people are looking to, what's the best way to say, further their own agenda, really. And that the museum is really not of importance to them. Because if it was of priority and importance, they would have made more of an effort to reach out to us and to continue the operation. What we created together was a gift. We made a gift. We made a turnkey gift for the church.
Now, but James, you know that when you succeed, when you merchandise well, when you treat your employees well, that of course, you're gratified, but your bosses also will feel a sense of ownership that this is my employees, and so your success will be the Archbishop's success,
exactly.
and Monsignor David's success as well. So why do you feel that it's not important then when even when you said when you walked in there, you were in awe and what they had, you realize what you have? Why do you think that is?
I'm not quite sure, but the next day, and I want to be very clear here because I've seen on the blogs people are calling me a liar and all this kind of stuff, is that the following day after it blew up in the media and there was a lot of coverage, I don't think that people realized how significant this project was and the value to the community. I also don't think that they expected 500 people to show up in one day on virtually almost no notice, less than 24-hour notice that they came. So I received late in the afternoon a message from Father Adrian that, Monsignor David would like to talk to you to see if you could come down. Would you like to about the museum? And I had agreed to talk to him. But I said, why am I talking to you if it was a priority? Shouldn't Monsignor David be calling me? So he called me. As soon as I hung up the phone, Monsignor David called me. And so we had set up a time where the volunteers can come and talk to him. And it was going to be like Wednesday. This was Monday, so it was supposed to be Wednesday.
Later,
But one of my things I said to Monsignor David is that, to not make it a media circus thing, can we just keep this between us and the volunteers and not get the media involved? When I came back, when I came home that very evening, I see Father Adrian talking about how the museum volunteers are going to work it out with us. And I thought, gosh, I
thought we agreed.
I thought we just said that, but it's okay. It's okay. We are committed to the project. Let's go see. We were set to meet at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, August 5th or 6th. That was the same day that the finance group were going to do a press conference, but I didn't know that. Then before the meeting, about 9:15, I got a call from the secretary that said, Monsignor David is canceling your meeting. There's something more important that he has to deal with. And I said, gosh, James, I don't think we really are important. So in your effort to ask me to come and participate, I was willing. We were willing to come to the table and participate in something, even though I feel like we were disrespected. And we said, okay, all is forgiven, let's go meet. But then to do it again to us another time.
Also, they did it again another time.
On Wednesday, they canceled the meeting indefinitely. And so I said, if the museum really is a priority, whatever's going on, maybe you should schedule.
Can you carve the museum out of it?
And just meet with me or have somebody else meet with us.
Sure. And clearly, actions speak louder than words. And clearly, the museum is not a priority. It's very evident. We're sitting here 5 months later, and the museum is still sitting shut down. So clearly, it's not a priority in anyone's book. And whatever agenda is trying to be pushed forward right now, the museum is not a part of that.
Every once in a while on Sundays, I attend Mass down there, sometimes at the chapel, sometimes, it's after that, and it's in the church itself there. But, I see the number of tourists that come in and take pictures and all that. Imagine if there was a museum for them to be able to see and all that,
One of the things that we did prior to that opening was we met with the tour agents and GVB. They helped us set up an evening with the tour agents who were so excited. That contract and that negotiation was already ongoing. And so I know that I saw something else that, the museum's not open because it's so expensive. This is actually a very sustainable operation. The cost to run the museum, because all of the staff time, including James's time, including all the volunteers' time to run the museum and man it, it was completely free. So really the cost was only going to be very minimal, only for the power, the water, and to ensure that it's kept clean and really pay for the maintenance.
My understanding, you set up a mechanism that it can pay for itself,
it's
basically.
It's completely sustainable. That's
Wow.
why when James says it's a gift, it really was. The tourists that were going to come to pay to go into the church were more than willing to pay to see a world-class place in Agana.
Well, not just the tourists, but ourselves as well.
Our people, the people of Guam.
I never had the opportunity to see it, so I would like to see it. Maybe we can sneak in one day.
Well, it's not exactly what it looked like when we first left it in August. When we stepped back in September, some things were removed, and it doesn't look like it did before.
It's not like the way you left it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to pay some bills right now. We're going to only have time to say goodbye, but we'll be right back.